Well, hello everybody. How you doing? Happy New Year to you. It's a new day, new time, new everything, and we're doing things fresh. And I hope everybody is doing things fresh. Putting the past behind us and trying to not think about what the past done to us. Because let's be honest, the past is only going to be the past if you let it go. And it's kind of refreshing because the film I'm going to be talking about today, and it's kind of weird because it falls in line with this film that I'm going to be discussing, or at least how it affects me in terms of why I'm discussing it. And that film is Super 8, which is a film that came out in 2011, in the summer of of course, yeah, around the summertime. So yeah, it's a movie that's set in 79. And if you look at the background here, and is appropriate for it because Super 8 is set in um, the late 70s. And me being a child or a baby of the 70s, it was kind of a refreshing thing to see this film. It's just a flashback to the times when things were simpler before internet, before all this social media, all that jazz, and it just shows how you can just be a young individual and just have a lot of imagination and whatever and whatever. And I have to say, and this is a film that was directed by JJ Abrams, produced by him and alongside with Mr. Spielberg. you know it is, if you watch the film, is almost a telling of you know what the 70s were. And being that Spielberg produced this, co-produced it, it's, you see some finagling of Close Encounters in this film a little bit. But here's the thing about this film, and this is the reason why I'm discussing it, not because of the telling of the film itself. I could have done an easy, so-called post about this. I mean, when I say post, with a couple of friends, discussing the film and how effective it was, and everything. No, the thing about this film has a more in-depth effectiveness on me because of its timing. This film came out in, like I say, 2011, and it's kind of surprising that I'm doing it around this month of January because you're gonna find out why I'm discussing this film along with you know why I'm discussing it, because the film has some gleaming similarities to my life at this moment in time than when the year this film came out. And in the film, it's kind of just kind of for show. It's like life imitating art, or art imitating life, or however you want to say it. But anyway, getting to the ramifications. The film is it stars Colin Chantley. It stars a young individual named Joe Lamb, played here by Joe Cotner. I think it's Cotner. Make sure his name is, no, Salander. I'm sorry, Salander. Or Salander. No, yeah, Joe Courtney. Joe Courtney. I'm sorry. Yes, that's his name. Well, Joe Courtney in the film, it's basically, like I say, it's set in the 70s, and the film starts out with him outside during a winter day. It's during February, and it's taking place in Ohio, Linland, Ohio. And the great thing about it is, this is, like I say, when winters will seem more colder or whatever. But in this particular moment, it's really cold because Joel has suffered a moment in time which has affected his course in life. And I should say too, before I go any further, if you start to see me kind of get a little more emotional than usual, you'll see why. You'll find out why. Okay, in the film, we're attending a funeral at this moment. And one of the things we see when it's going on, we see that he's outside because a certain family member has passed away, and that is his mother. His mother passed away. And Joe is a very creative young lad, like so many people, when you are somebody who has a vivid imagination, you're very creative, but that creation could be, blocked if a certain traumatic moment happens to you in time. Well, it's kind of, I mean, I remember when I saw the early trailer for this, the teaser trailer for it. It involved a train crash where this truck drives on the tracks and causes the train to derail. And then you see something trying to pop out one of the rail cars. It's like, what's going on here? So, needless to say, we see this happening, and I'm just like, okay, what's going on? This is, and if you look at the film and look at the trailer itself, you could see that it's like, oh man, this is set back during a time when Close Encounters, and it's kind of funny that Spielberg produced all that stuff. Okay, um, when you see the film before, you don't get this what's coming up. And while I'm making this video because it's this month, 15 years later, that a certain event happened to me. And like in the film, a certain event happens to him, which I mentioned before. My mother, even though I was a grown man, I was 40 years old, my mother, Emily Joshua, who right here is a picture of her in her youth. This is her when she was like in her early 20s. She's a very beautiful woman. The beauty that I seen in her was not so much the beauty that I saw in what she taught me. You know, I mean, beauty fades, but the beauty that up one parent teaches a child lasts forever. Well, as I said before, I did not expect this event to happen to me. It was sudden. And I shouldn't say it was sudden because my mother was in age. She was up there, she was in and out of hospitals many times, many ways. But on the 6th of January 2011, she finally went to rest. And thankfully, she passed away in her sleep. And all I know is for me, it was such a traumatic moment that, and I shouldn't say traumatic, I should say it was just a moment in my time where I was like, well, I'm thinking like she would outlive her children. But as it turns out, her children will outlast her because that's how it's the cycle of life is. Parents are supposed to go before their children. Well, anyway, my mother passed away, and thankfully she went into sleep. And when my family members went to go up there and see her, it was a surprise. It was a surprise, not surprise, but I mean, when I heard it, I was like, well, I guess this is timing. This is happening. This is going on. All I know is that when it did transpire, I went up there and I personally tried to hold down in terms of my emotions, how I was feeling. I was just like, well, I'm accepting this to a degree. And for the next 3 hours while I was there at the hospital in her room, I just making sure everyone else is, holding on, taking care and everything. But it shows right there how one cannot hold back the incredible power of what you're feeling. And 3 hours later, I broke down and cried. over her. I um, I pretty much let myself go, and I couldn't hold back my tears. You know, I mean, because it was an emotional moment for me. You know, it was just it was how can I dare say it? She yeah. I mean, I just it's yeah. I mean, excuse me about doing this, you know, but no, but she had passed away, and she was there, lying there, lifeless. But at the same time, I felt, well, my mom was at peace, so she should, you know, be at peace because she done enough. She done everything she could for her kids, and that's enough. You know, she don't have to worry about anything. All the kids are grown, and it's kind of funny because I felt like if my mother had passed away when I was a kid, I think I'd been more, you know, traumatized than anything. But yeah, I mean, it hurt. It was painful, you know, but it was a moment in my life that I just said to myself, "Can I move on from this?" So getting back to the film Super 8, why is this even a pinnacle moment for discussion? Well, the simple fact is that months later, like I say, this film came out in June of that year, and you know, I said I'm trying to move on, trying, but at the same time, I'm trying to be, you know, holding on to, you know, some sense of, you know, not letting go. I mean, when I say not letting go, not letting myself get off because time and time again, every so often, I would start crying, you know, but I'm still a grown man, but I'm sure because I had to take care of my brother, you know, my mentally handicapped brother, and all these things. So I went to go see the film, and it was so. Excuse me for a second. It was so an emotional roller coaster when you go see this film. You think like, whoa, wait a minute, this starts out different than what I thought it was. I mean, you know, it's true enough, and you think like, okay, this is not starting out the way I think it is, but at the same time, it's starting out with a funeral, and surprisingly, it starts out in the wintertime, the same time as when my mother passed away during the wintertime. I was just like, whoa, this is too much on the nose, you know. I mean, this is not what I was expecting for a film to start out with. So it starts out like that, and it's like almost a representation of what happens with me. I mean, it's almost like my moment in time happened in the wintertime with my mother passing. And then, like I say, jump to the summertime. Well, it's like, well, life goes on. You most transcend into, you know, doing what you have to do. So, with all that, you know, you say like, well, I mean, that's something right there with that. But I mean, how's that really such of a momentum with the film? You know, well, like I say, the film is just a you know, allegory to another time when I was growing up during the '70s, you know, and you know, just living life. But at the same time, it's just showing where you as a person have to learn to move on and not be stuck in that mindset, because it's the movie, like I say again, to kind of discuss the film a little bit. The film is a great mixed bag of young kids, and showing the main cast is kids. They're like under 13 years old. They're tweens. Um, but they make home movies because this movie is called Super 8. They make home movies. And Super 8 film was a thing back then. Kids who were very adventurous, very creative. They created things. I was the same way. I made it. I mean, and I didn't do Super 8 things. I did drawings. I used to draw a lot. you know. Um, but and that was in my youth, you know. But I don't know. I guess I lost touch with it, you know, and I guess I had to somewhat grow up, whatever, you know. I mean, it might have delved into, you know, something future wise where I wanted to do something, you know, for my life, you know. But I choose a different course of life, choose a course of whatever, and that's what I did. Now, same with the character of Joe. You know, he likes to make models. You know, he knows about makeup. You know, it's like he's almost a future you know, technician on special effects in the future. You know, that's probably what he would have been in the in the coming years. You know, but like I say, at the same time, he has dealt with a loss. You know, but he's a child. You know, so and like so many things in life, you know, we have to try to live through certain things in order to say for our lives to make sense. You know, his father has to try to deal with the hand that's dealt with him. You know, I mean, he has to try to raise his son. You know, because his mother was more the one kind of raising because his father's a cop. But I mean, at the same time, it didn't mean that he didn't care about his son. But his father's dealing with a loss. You know, and during this time, you know, he's blaming. He tries to find. That's the thing about it. He's trying to find a reason to, you know, blame things on other people. You know, because the guy, because his wife worked at this manufacturing company, and somebody who was supposed to work there was too drunk to do it, and she took the place, and you know, the domino effect, whatever. And the guy that was there, you know, coincidentally, is the father of the daughter that Joel's character likes. You know, it's good storytelling, good structure and everything. Well, he feels that the father feels he has to blame the other father for the reason why his wife died. But in the movie, even he has to come to grips with the fact that, you know, things happen. You can't change the past. You know, I mean, things are going to happen. You know, people are going to have accidents. People will reach a pinnacle in their lives that they pass away. You know, it's like we things happen. It's one if someone goes up and just, you know, execute someone, you know, delete someone like that. That's one thing. But when the the old saying, when it's your time, you can't do anything about that. It's just how life is. You know. And for some people, I mean, I know for myself, it was kind of hard to do that. It was extremely hard to do that. You know, and I'm 40 years old. I mean, I'm in my 40s now. I'm thinking like it should have been easier for me to let go. It should have been, but as it turns out, it really wasn't. You know, so the movie is, like I say, doing a great job of, you know, hammering all things coming up as doing this thing. It's all, you know, it's like I say, it's venturous, you know. And during the time of the film, we find out it's dealing with an alien creature that's been in captivity since '58, and you know, it's a large multi people type of creature, and all he wants to, like E.T., another Spielberg made film, you know, directed by. All he wants to do is to go home. He doesn't want to, you know, he doesn't want to cause harm. But the difference between ET and this particular creature is that he's been treated with such cruelty and such, you know, animosity towards him. This creature learns that the only way to survive is to, well, lash out, pretty much attack those who attack him. It's instincts 101. That's all. So the creature I'm talking about, he's trying to reconstruct a ship that's made out of these little Rubik's cube type blocks, and that's kind of the great thing about this film too is they try something different instead of doing the old fashioned, well, it's just a ship that's been buried or been underwater or just hidden stealth wise. It's all this thing was made out of million pieces, but once it constitutes it together, it would form the ship to make a whole. And that's pretty cool. You always try to do something different, Hollywood, and thankfully, like people like James Abrams, JJ Abrams did something different. But anyway, the film is rolling. We see that in the midst of this, Joe realizes that he likes this girl, Allie, Alice, and during the course of all these things, the military comes in, because of the train crash. Because, like I say, there's a train crash when they're filming at this little train outing, and the one of the people who was not so much holding the creature captive, he was somebody who was trying to study, but not try to keep this creature in captivity. Um, Mr. Woodlard, Woodlard, yes, Woodlard. Um, and it turns out the creature has ability to have a psychic connection with someone when they touch them, and they easily feel his thoughts. That's why I say doing certain things when it comes to aliens is always a unique thing, but at the same time, it's not that easy, you know. So he's the one who derails the the train that's carrying both the creature and his ship that's in particles, and he's willing to lay his life down for this creature because he knows that this creature's been held in captivity against his will without due process. I think you think like it's like that. Let's say an illegal alien is like, dude, come on now, that's not what we're talking about. So he derails the train, and you know the kids are witnessing and all this. They capture all this, you know, and through no fuss, no muss, we see that the creature, is he escapes and he tries to get things, through this town of Linland to try to harness all the pieces of his ship into this one area, which is a water tower, you know. But in the midst of this, he kidnaps certain townspeople, and it happens, and everything. And unfortunately, he kidnaps Ellie. So during, like I said, during him and his friends trying to find her, try to, because in the end, the creature just wants to go home. He just wants to go home. He's like, be left alone. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Because he already felt that interaction is human interaction now. Remember that what I'm saying. Human interaction, not Earth action. I'm not saying Earth because Earth is one thing. Human interaction is a different type. Dealing with human beings, at least the ones that are calculating, cold, and unsympathetic, he just wants to leave the planet and go back to where he belongs. You know. So anyway, getting to the point of what I'm making about this film is this. And this is the moment where it's a very vital point of this film, which is the kids, to the kids, Joel and I think is it Craig? I think it is. I think it's Craig. I was like, well, anyway, short little dude. They found that this creature is subterranean type of creature. Dug a hole, dug tunnels and everything. They find Ellie, they rescue her, and they're about to get her out, but unfortunately they're trapped, and the creature, is like very hostile, it could give this hostile look, but at the same time, it can give this very soft, you know, kind of viewpoint of what it is. And Joel trapped, and then Joel tells him, tells the creature, just go, just run, just get out of here, And he pretty much is saying to him, bad things happen, but it don't have to be, But the creature picks him up, and since this creature has a psychic connection, he feels what Joel is feeling. And when Joel is telling him this, reciting this, he's pretty much telling me, bad things happen. Bad things will always happen. This is in the film now. Bad things will always happen. But that doesn't mean you stop living. You can keep going. You can keep moving on. You keep persevering. Because you don't know where life is going to take you, even though bad things happen, and bad things will continue to happen. They will always happen. There's no stopping that. And in the moment, you see the eyes or eyelids retract from the creature, and you see it's more softer, more, kind looking creature, knowing that while he's holding Joel, he feels his emotions, he feels his pain, he feels his loss. And and the creature alien pretty much realizes, like, I don't want to be this, monster. I don't want to be that. I want to be what I am, which is to live. That's all he wants. And in a way, Joel telling him this is more of a telling himself, is like, I don't have to live. I don't have to live. I don't have to live in this kind of mindset. I don't have to live with the pain. I mean, the pain will be there, but the thing about it is, you motivate yourself to be something else, to push on and go on in life. So the creature realizes, releases him, and he goes and takes off, and he gets into where the water tower is, because what he's collected all through the town is basically all of things of mechanical parts that kind of drag. Or it's more like a magnet if you think about it. It's more like a magnet. It's pulling all these manner of cubes to form a ship. Now, in the midst of this, when you watch the ending of this, it's pretty much it's pretty much just like I say, things flying around. You see cars lifting up. That shows how strong this uh, magnetic force is, because all it's doing is pulling not just that, but it's pulling all other things, but pulling the cubes that form the ship in above the water tower itself. So during this, because during this time, I mean, the military cleared out the town, so there's only military folks. They're trying to capture the creature and everything. So anyway, the alien manages to form the ship, get it reformed, reconstitute into the ship that it is to travel home. So during this time, Joel's father and Allie's father are together, and they find their kids, they're getting together, they're seeing this event happening, and in the middle of the town. So it's a crucial moment right here where I didn't mention, because I didn't say this earlier. This is Joe has a locket that I'm pretty sure his mom used to wear, which has a picture of her and Joel as an infant, and he holds on to it during most of the film, and it's just a sign that's like it's something to hold on to, that she's not truly dead. But that's the thing about loved ones, especially like my mother here. You know, my mom, I can say without a doubt, she was a pain in my butt. She was a pain. I'm pretty sure I was a pain in her butt too. My mom, she was a no nonsense type of woman. She laid the groundwork of Shan, disciplining her kids, make sure that's like, you better do this. I'm gonna put my foot up your foot up my my foot up your butt, And my mom would get on my nerves in the latter years. Would get on my. It's like, oh my God, would you stop it? Quit. Not getting on my nerves here. Getting on like doing all these things. All these things was transcending. That's just how it is. I mean, true enough, I was taking care of her. I was making sure she was fed and taken to the doctor whenever she needs to. All that stuff. But you know, when the time came when she finally left this world, I realized that's the thing that made me love her the most. That she gave a damn. That she gave a damn for me and the other kids she had. And she showed how much she truly loved her children. And as Tupac once said in that song, Dear Mama, there's no way that I can pay you back, but my plan is to understand you are appreciated. Those words mean so much to me more in life because I know my mom, she did things that would, excuse me here, uh, I know my mom did things like any good parent would do things to their children that they kind of despise, kind of like just like, ooh, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? But you realize when you get to a certain point in your life, you realize that's the reason why they did it. They did it because they wanted to show you that they care. They wanted to show you that without this, defending yourself in this world, you'll never be able to survive it. And I realized that my mom had honed in all that she had learned from her mom, my grandma, and her dad to teach her children so they would not be lost in this world, taken advantage of, and standing on 2 feet. Because I know growing up, I know personally me, I was this scared, you know, very introvert, very shy, very scared. I always felt like I was taken advantage of, which in a way I was, because I felt kids could sense that. But in time, as I got older, got bigger, everything, I could tell, I could read through subtle signs of who was truly there for me, who truly, and I realized it's come from my mom's teaching. It's come from my mom's, love and discipline. So this is the moment where I was saying and this is a crucial moment. And I should mention too, this film has music by Gia, Michael Giacchino, who is a brilliant composer. He's almost as I think he's almost like a footnote of who John Williams is. He's because the music in here sounds so John Williams in a way. But Abrams chose wisely in getting this guy because he's such a brilliant composer. He's very brilliant. His music in here is subtle cues, subtle moments, sudden, tenderness, and when it gets to the very adventurous, very scary, but it's very moving. But a crucial moment here is at the end. And this, like I say, I'm not just rambling about these things about my mind. No, this is the moments of why I'm talking about this. He, um, Joel embraces his father, and Ellie embraces her father, and they show that they love their children. In the moment, because I mean, the father says, "I got you. I'm letting you know. I'm not letting you go. I'm not letting you know that I'm here." And Father of the son. Even though the father probably didn't do as much as the mother did in terms of raising, he's showing that I do care. Don't think I don't. And the son realizes that. But as like I say, the ship is about to leave, the alien's about to go. It's still pulling things. That's metallic or anything like that. So this is a crucial moment where I mentioned about the locket that has the picture of him and his mom. It's pulled out of his pocket, and he grabs it. You know, he grabs it, and it's like I don't want to let go, but it's at that moment, and this is why I say certain subtle moments in film I can read so well. It's almost like reading a book. And even though I've read books, I don't. For some reason, I can't do it as well when I see film, where I can see certain subtleties of certain things. But this metaphor here, where the locket that holds the picture of his mom and him as an infant, he's holding on tight to it, but that's when he realizes, like, I have to let go of you. I have to let go. As much as I know that you're gone, you're still alive inside of here. And that's one thing I had to learn for myself. Seeing that part, I had to let go. I had to let go of the fact that my mom is not here anymore. Like so many other people's parents that passed, mothers and fathers, they're not here anymore. And you have to realize that they're in a better place. They're in a better place, and they don't have to suffer anymore. And by Joe letting go of that locket, he's letting go of not so much the pain, but he's letting go of knowing that he has to accept his mother's not here anymore. And he has to learn to live and walk in this world again of life. And I realized that was something I had to do for myself. And even though life is not like the movies are not like life, that's a good thing right there. Life in movies is totally different than life in real life. We can't get over certain things just like that. That's not how life works. That's not how life works, and it doesn't work like that. But excuse me here. But after the film, you realize that may have been something that was potentially something for me. I'm not saying that it was, but knowing that it happened at the time, that was a pinnacle moment in my life that they're showing in this film. It was something that I had to do myself. And even though it took me another 3 years, well, little less than 3 years to really start to walk again and just say, hey, even though my mother's gone, I still have to be here to take care of my brother, take care of the house, take care of the job. And the job as I was working out there, walking at the time was not helping me. It was not helping me. It was just terrible at the time. But yeah, and I realized, like I say, it was something I had. It was affecting me a lot. But as time progressed, I realized, like, okay, it's time to get back on the horse and ride this land of life again. So thankfully, during this time, this is what's so great about how life is. You never know what's going to take you. I would eventually get a new job, a better job. And the better job, was way less stressing, way less, not so much responsibility. I still have responsibilities, but it was nothing that where it's like, hey, I ain't got to have someone breathing down my neck with certain things. And like I say, eventually I would discover social media, which at the time social media was still social media, and social media today, I think, is more toxic than anything. But I don't let it berate me what it is, you know. So it it helped me to open up. Surprisingly, being on Facebook helped me to open up my who I am, who Walter Ross is, and to kind of persevere, open up, you know. And in time, it would help me to, yeah, help me to motivate myself to go to my first G Fest. And trust me, you know, that was something I never imagined myself doing, but it seemed like all this was a catalyst for me to, and to me, I think that might have been the case. With the passing of my mom, it was almost, it seemed like a catalyst for me to say, it's time for you to become a man, or at least become something that you didn't think was possible. And in time, what would be? You know, I would be become someone that I say, it's like, hey, this is a person that I like, and I don't have to be, you know, such an introvert, you know, thing. You know, I mean, I'd be aware of people, you know, I'd be aware of things that's going on, but at the same time, you know, it's like I can be this person and enjoy life. So in time, I would, like I say, blossom out, and as I say, as I keep going to my different G fests, you know, it would open up me more and more and more, you know, and I become like, wow, the person that I was before, he's no longer there, you know, because previous G fests, I was like, wow, wow, who was the person that I was before, you know, and who is this person that I was at this time and place, you know, and I was like, wow, I mean, I never imagined it, you know, and it's kind of uncanny, but it just makes me realize that it makes me think my mom's death, my mom's release from this world was more of a, well, it was more of a situation where it let me know it's like you don't have to be, you know, shy of anything, because she gave you everything that was passed down from her to you. So you can do things, and in time, I would become more than I thought I would be. And yeah, because here I am doing this. Here I am doing, you know, these podcasts, live streams, things that I would never have done before in the past, and it's amazing because you know you just don't think that it would come to this, you know. And I think that's the thing about with Super 8. You realize that the things that you thought were not possible, not, you know, there for you to do, you realize that no, it's possible. Things are possible for it to happen. You know, things are there to catapult you to a different state of being. And I think that's what it was. You know, for me especially, because like I say, here I am now, and doing this, and I got to meet some incredible people, you know. And true enough, I mean, if I had never met the people that I know along the way, you know, it wouldn't have been so bad. I mean, because I was always living, you know, in solitude to where I was. But at the same time, I'm glad I got to meet the people that I come to appreciate and love and be compassionate with, you know. And it's like that's how it should be, you know. That's how you're supposed to live. You're supposed to get out in this world, you know. I mean, but but the thing about Super 8, it was a film that I feel that I had to stress about and do it around this time to talking about it, because this is the month that 15 years later that my mom, you know, relayed the rest. And here I am talking about it years later, talking about it because I feel like I owe it to my mom. I owe it to this film, and I just owe it to just life experiences, because God gave me the will, the ability to do the things I need to do. And if you don't believe in God, that's your choice. You know, that's, I mean, he gave us free will to believe and what to not believe, but gave me the will to just, you know, try to do what's best for myself and see where it takes me. And here I am today, doing this. And even though you might have saw me getting a little, a little emotional, that shows how much it affected me. Because if I talk about it, I will start to you know, kind of fuss her up. But I don't mind doing that because I know that I know who I am and I know what I'm capable of and I know what I need to do. So that's the thing about this, and I feel like that's why I took the time to talk about this film along with why it's a reflection of my life, which is uncanny. It's uncanny how it's a reflection of what I was going through dealing with the loss of my mother. And knowing that it was a loss on me, I gained something else from that. Kind of like Joel's character in the film. He gains somebody that loves him. This Ellie did. He gains something, and also gains the fact that his father, father does care for him. You know, you will lose something, but you will gain something in return. You know, that old saying, one door closes, another one opens. Well, for me, my mom's, you know, passing led me to being more open, more, to who I am today. And yeah, here I am. Here I am now. It's kind of weird how life works like that, and we never know what's going to. We never know where life is going to take us. We have no clue. And wherever life takes us, we hope that it gives us the ability to persevere on. And I'm happy to say that to this day, I'm glad. And this is a new year. It's it's a mystery. I don't know where the mystery is going to take me, but I can't wait to find out. And I hope it just go in a good direction. Despite so many things that's happened last year, in my life, and I'm not talking about the political view. I'm talking about certain things that have happened, that were just like, wow, this kind of crap happened. I mean, it's like, okay, this happened, but why did it happen? And but you know, no one can no one can see the future, and I don't think no one needs to see the future. The future is what it is. The future is supposed to be a mystery, and let's hope it stays that, all the time. But now that's pretty much what it was coming down to about this film. Super 8. Um, it was something that was necessary for me as a cathartic move on my part because I think I needed to talk about it. And knowing that I needed to talk about it, it's showing how talking about that film and discussing how it's a reflection on this person here, my mother, Miss Emily Joshua, how it really shows the pinnacle of just funny how just, art and life coincide with one another. And this film, Super 8, really coincide with mine just about to a T. It's just weird how that works, you know what I mean? I mean, it seems like I have more of a so-called reaction or reflection or relation to film than I do with other things. And it's just something that I can see, I can see the subtleties and all those things. But yeah, that's why I wanted to talk about it and why right here it's because I'm a child of the 70s, and it's something I think I need to talk about and show how these parallels of the film in my life coincide with one another. And now you kind of got an idea. Now you kind of know. So, but that's pretty much it. That's pretty much. And this is my first. This is my first video for this year. It's the first video for this year, and it's like I say, it's a new year, new day. I don't know exactly what's going to come next as far as that. I don't know. That's one thing about life. We don't know what's going to come next, and I'm glad I don't know what's coming next. But I will say what might be coming next for me as far as that, I might be having a. In fact, I know I will be. I will have a delivery video probably in the next 2 3 weeks, something like that. I'm not sure if I'll be on either Kevin's podcast talking about Gamera. I have to see how my job will be like that coming day. I mean, it might be possible, but we'll see. I mean, I'm gonna try to push through it and see if I can be on there. I want to be on there. I want to attend that. As far as other things, as far as this month, I don't know what'll come about. I mean, it's hearsay. It's hearsay, and whatever does happen, hopefully it's gonna be a smooth ride because, like I said, last year was my first time um, doing broadcasts, and this will come this February or March, really, come my first year since I've been doing that. I mean, because I've been on YouTube for the last uh, this will be coming up 13 years. Yeah, 13 years. Come this May, this July. So yeah, I've like I say, I've been on Facebook. I mean, not Facebook. I've been on YouTube for 13 years. So who knows where it goes to? But that's where it goes from there. And like I say, I don't know what else is coming. I mean, I know other things are coming in the next following months. I know we're going to be talking about what's Forbidden Planet because it's coming up on its 70th year. It'll probably be like in February or March. I know I want to be talking about Thelma and Louise 30th anniversary. It's no 30, no 35th anniversary coming June this year. There's various others. I'm trying to see what other things that I got as far as coming up. Hold up here. Let's see. Just to make sure. I can tell right off. I got. Oh yes, Broken Arrow. Broken Arrow. I'm gonna be doing the 30th anniversary of that next month for sure. Um, and yes, like I say, in March, Forbidden Planet, Executive Decision, another good film, coming up in March. It's gonna be the 30th on that one. Uh, yes, it's coming. Oh, it's in May. Okay, it's in May. I'm going to talk about it. And yes, Clash of the Titans. I will be talking about that in June. It'll be turning 45 years old. So that'll be a good talk discussion. So and other people that I attend with, we'll have fun. And of course, I make my triumphant return to G Fest this coming July. So that's another great thing. That's something that future holds. So, and I'll be flying out there this time. So I won't be taking the train. Certain events beyond my control, led me to it. But I feel like it's probably time to start flying. So, but that's pretty much it, people. That's pretty much a wrap on that. And this is a new time, new day, and everything. And nothing else to say. I mean, that was my little essay, my commentary about Super 8 and how it paralleled with my life, and that's pretty much it. Nothing else to say. I mean, it's not. It wasn't so much short and sweet. It was just to the point and to the facts, and hopefully, y'all understood my point of view of it, and you take it as is. That's all I can say. So, with that being said, y'all take care. Y'all be patient, and always keep the film legacy alive, keep the kaiju love alive, and just keep everything alive that's good inside of you. Peace out now.